Hello, everybody. This is the night before the draft. Back in the day, I'm starting to do it again because I'm having a lot of fun with this draft. What I do is the night before the draft, I go through all the players' rumors. I mean, not players, all the teams' rumors to see who they're looking at and who went to the most visits and all that kind of stuff. You know, some's not true, some's true. So we're gonna go through all these rumors and all this stuff to see what this draft just might look like. I'm gonna warn you right now. When we get down to the Cowboys pick, it's gonna be a homer pick. It's gonna be a homer pick. It's gonna be the pick of the person that I wanted. But until then, we'll have some fun. All right, let's start this thing up. And start the draft. All right. The first pick of the draft. Now, I know you all heard the Will Levis stuff on Reddit, and I personally don't believe what's on Reddit is true. Will Levis came out and said, ha ha ha, I don't always believe what's on Reddit, yada yada yada. I'm having a lot of fun with it or whatnot. But the thing that worries me, and I don't have it on me. Yes, I do. The thing that worries me is the Vegas odds. As of last night, the Vegas odds were, let's see, Bryce Young minus 1,000 and Will Levis plus 600. Now, I don't think Vegas moved because of Reddit. If I don't believe Reddit, and you probably don't believe Reddit, and the people on TV don't believe Reddit, if nobody really believes Reddit, then why would Vegas move? That's money, man. Why would it move? So I'm just like something. And the second thing of this, I've been waiting for the excuse for Carolina not to take Bryce Young simply because in my mind, of these three quarterbacks, of the four quarterbacks, you got Bryce Young, you got Anthony Richardson, you got CJ Stroud. Three of those quarterbacks, and you got Frank Reich as the tutor, as the guy who's going to teach those guys. What can Frank Reich teach Bryce Young, CJ, and Anthony Richardson? Because all three of them are, two of them are completely athletic. I mean, when you look at Bryce and AR, and then CJ is sort of like that way, but none of them are in the mold of Frank Reich except for Will Levis. So if you're Frank Reich, you're probably like, man, Will Levis is some clay, like that Josh Allen in Buffalo, who I still don't like. He's a piece of clay. If I had, and Frank Reich's also thinking, if I had an arm like that, I can teach him. So, you know, it's a lot of sameness going on in Carolina with the quarterback situation, I feel like. So I was just looking for an excuse to put that together because they've been weird with the number one pick. They've been very weird with it. Like, it's just, Bryce Young, no, we're not talking about it. Yeah, we got our guy. And no, they hadn't said, excuse me, I'm sorry. They hadn't said it's Bryce Young. They just say, we got a guy, everything's cool or whatever. So we'll say, I'm going with, for the first pick of the draft, I'm going with the drama. I'm going with Will Levis. Let's have some fun tonight. That's what I think is going to happen because in my mind, it just fits, right? Right? It just fits, don't it? All right. Next, we have the Texans. Now, if this happens with the Texans, excuse me, I don't need to move this. If this happens with the Texans, then business as usual. Do the same thing they were doing before. They were going to go Will Anderson. Let's keep it Will Anderson. They have a plan there. They're going to go defense. And one of my boys is a Texans fan. And I'm like, man, just work on that defense. And if you don't win, so what? Caleb is coming out next year. So Caleb is the quarterback. These quarterbacks this year are maybe, sort of, he might, and all that kind of stuff. But next year, Caleb is a he is. That's the first he is. Now, here is where I go with the Cardinals, and I feel like somebody is going to come up in the draft and get that position. But if not, And even though if they do, I don't think Arizona is going to fall too far not to get this player. So I'm going to go ahead and give them Devon Witherspoon because they need help in the back end of that defense. Then we get to number 4, and Bryce Young is still on the board. The Colts did not foresee this. No one foresaw this. So we're going to go with Bryce Young. And to make my mock, just if my mock wants to be, the other way, you can just flip Bryce Young and Will Levis right there. You can just flip them. You know what I'm saying? And then you come out the same thing. But I do think somebody is going to trade. And if Will Levis goes first, that's going to be a hot spot for sure, because Bryce Young can be gotten at the 5th pick. So you might see, one of these other teams like the Raiders. I don't think the Falcons are really looking at a quarterback, but the Titans, the Packers, not the Packers, and the Redskins. Why did I do that? The Commanders, because I saw that big W. That's why. Commanders. That's my fear. Commanders are going to come up and get one of these quarterbacks. Not really my fear, but I think that's going to happen. But got Bryce Young at 4. Then at 5, we're going to, I hear Seattle is just enamored with Jalen Carter. And Jalen Carter is going to go to a sound organization that's going to, know how to treat him. So, yeah, easy pick. Again, at 6, we got the Detroit Lions next. And the Lions, they want to put another pass rusher on the other side of their monster. So they're going to have 2 pass rushing monsters. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to give them the guy who just been, everybody's kind of talking about. Where is he? Tyree Wilson. Number 6. Bam. At number 7, the Raiders. The Raiders could go quarterback. You got CJ Stroud here. You got all this kind of stuff. But I just don't see them, any of those quarterbacks, a Josh McDaniels type quarterback. Maybe CJ Stroud, but I think if the Raiders are there, I think they're going to go with the freakazoid cornerback out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez. Let's put him right there. Then we have the Falcons. The Falcons are next, and Falcons need some type of heat on the quarterback. They have absolute zilch. So this is a great pick for them. They can use him. This may even turn out. Who knows what this pick is? We had an undersized linebacker that we figured out could rush the passer like crazy. So maybe this guy might be able to do that thing too. Who knows? But he's hometown. He's Georgia, going to Atlanta, and I like it. I like it a lot. And next we have the Chicago Bears. And they're going to go with big, again, I love doing hometown picks, man. I'm from Chicago. There's a dude from Northwestern on the board. Let's get the dude from Northwestern. And he fits right in. Going to get some protection for the Justin Fields. Then we have the filthy Eagles. I couldn't say the rest of it. It's late, guys. I need to be asleep right now. I'm worried about the draft, and I need to be asleep right now. But Philadelphia, I don't want to give them no Bijan Robinson because I don't want to mock it. I don't even want to see it. And I just don't think Bijan is going to go that early. Jackson Smith and Igba, I don't think they're going to do that either. In my opinion, they're going to go smart like Philadelphia does. They're going to get Paris Johnson from Ohio State, plug him into that offensive line, and then hopefully hopefully he's a bust. But for them, hopefully he can go into be a starting left tackle or whatever. So let's stop talking about Philadelphia. Now we have the Tennessee Titans. And right there, waiting for the Tennessee Titans is Anthony Richardson. Now this is an interesting too. If this happens happens, I thought about this last night. Whatever. If this actually happens, and you have the Titans at 11 and the Texans at 12, and also you have CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson on the board. The Titans have their pick of the quarterback back because both of them are probably going quarterback right now. Houston is like, oh my goodness, we get our defensive end and we can get a quarterback. This is insane. So I think the Titans will go Anthony Richardson for some reason. I don't know. He just fits or whatever. Him and Willis, boy, you put one out, the other one to come in and just run on you. You know what I'm saying? So Anthony Richardson and Willis will be a great 1-2 punch if Richardson is hurt, Willis, and they can keep the same. I've always wondered that, man. Why don't teams get the same type quarterback? So if one of them goes down, the second one can play pretty much the same offense as the first one. I don't know why they don't do that. So I'm giving Anthony Richardson to the Titans. And now we're going to go to the Texans. And come on. CJ Stroud is not going to fall past the Texans. If he does, it's going to be, oh man. I just can't see that happening. CJ Stroud to the Texans. It might though. Now we have Green Bay. Wouldn't it be cool if Green Bay got him? You know, Green Bay, come back in with a quarterback. I love it. Have a quarterback battle. But no, Green Bay is going to be smart. And Green Bay is not going to troll Aaron Rodgers and get a tight end or a wide receiver right when Aaron Rodgers is gone. They're going to do it the Green Bay way. There's no defensive player, I don't think, that fits them to a T. But Mr. Darnell Wright, where is he? Right there. Tackle from Tennessee should go right there to give them support for their new quarterback and, you know, everything moving forward, because the tackle is just good. A tackle is just smart. Now, this is interesting. We have the New England Patriots on the board, and all the quarterbacks are gone except for the one that I believe has the best arm in the draft. And that's what I think is going to happen, because Hendon Hooker has been coming up. And there's been mocks where he's been going to right underneath to the Commanders, and the Lions. So Hendon Hooker, there's some mocks of him going right now. And that's a Belichickian thing to get somebody. And look, Mac Jones, his arm is not great. So you get a guy who comes in with an arm that's great, and you teach him the fundamental football like you taught Mac Jones. They could be back. That's a good pick, guys. That's a good pick. Hey, man, somebody need to hire me as a GM, man. I'm hooking all these teams up. Where is he? Oh, I got to go deep to get Hendon. I'll be there in a minute, guys. There he is. Hendon Hooker. Go save Belichick's career. Now we have the W Commanders. Now, I believe they're going to go up and they're going to get one of those quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson probably. And with the quarterback, the coach that coached Cam to the Super Bowl, he's probably licking his chops to get the next Cam so he can do similar things. And he probably learned his lessons with Cam. And in Washington, they actually have weapons for the quarterback that they never gave Cam in Carolina. So I have a keen eye on Washington. But if they stay put, they're going to go get my boy out of Clemson, Miles Murphy, because both of their defensive ends, Montez and you know his name from Ohio State, both of them contract is coming up, and they're not going to be able to keep both of them. So let's give them Miles Murphy. All right. Next, Pittsburgh. What's Miles Murphy? Oh, man, I messed up. Let me give the Redskins. Broderick Jones is going to the Jets. So I'm just going to give them to the Redskins. Y'all know that is a mess up. Why didn't anybody tell me, man? Broderick Jones. Where's Broderick Jones at? There we go. So let's just switch those two. Broderick Jones is a Jet, and Miles Murphy is a Redskin. Then we're gonna go to Pittsburgh, and of course they're gonna go defense because Pittsburgh does defense, and they need a corner. So I'm gonna give them Deonte Banks from Maryland. Awesome. Then we have pick number 18 with the Lions. We're gonna give them some interior pressure to go at their outside guy out there. Wait a minute. Will they do that? Because I gave them Tyree Wilson earlier at 6. So will they go Tyree Wilson and Kalijah Kancey for the defensive line? You know, they said they're not going. They don't need another starting wide receiver. Bijan Robinson, dude, I gotta do it. I gotta Kalijah. I put the notes to give them both, but I'm like, will they really do something like that? I think it's kind of smart to load up your defensive line with an interior guy like that that can get pressure, and you got 3. Man, just hold on and think about that for a minute. That's kind of like what the New York Giants had when they went to the Super Bowl, when you had 4 linemen that could all get to the quarterback, and they would just like coming at you. So hey, just keep an eye on that one. That's a good pick. I questioned myself there. All right, next we're gonna go to give the Bucks Dalton Kincaid, the best tight end in the draft. Then pick 20, we have the Seahawks, and I think I'm gonna give them some edge pressure with Mr. Lucas Van Ness. Bam, they love that guy out there. Then with the Chargers, you know what? They need their wide receiver. Keenan is going to be out of there in a minute. He needs to, and I think Jackson Smith, JSN is he's like Keenan, right? He's very similar. He's big and he can run routes like crazy. And has great hands. So yeah, let's replace Keenan. Good job, hey Kellen. There you go. Best receiver in the draft to you. Then here is the pick. I feel like the best spot for Bijan Robinson Bijan Robinson is the Baltimore Ravens with Lamar. And I think if Baltimore does this, bam, Bijan Robinson, then Lamar will be coming closely. And just think about that pairing just for a second. Those are my favorites. If Bijan and Lamar is coming out of the same backfield, and you got the receivers you got with OBJ that can still get the ball down the field, and Lamar, I am hooking these teams up, man. Somebody hire me as a GM, man. That's all I want to do in my life. That's it. All right, the Vikings. It's going to hurt some of you Cowboy fans because a lot of us want it, but they need a corner really bad. And I'm going to give them to Joey Porter Jr. The Jaguars, for some reason, I just think this is going to happen because Brian Branch just looks like he's a Jaguar. The name looks like it belongs with the Jag. I don't know. It's late. Just humor me. It's late. So I'm going to give them Brian Branch. Next, the Giants, I would try to make them miss this pick, but it won't happen because it's not real. New York Giants, I think they're going to go wide receiver. I think it's pretty much, unless they just lie to everybody, they're going to go wide receiver. And right here we have, at wide receiver left, we have Addison, and you have Quentin Johnson, and you have Zay. So I think out of the 3 of those guys, they loved Addison the most. They do, not me. They loved Addison the most. I hope he's a bust. So I'll give him Addison. Liz is us. So us, Michael Mayer. No, I like him. it's just like I just can't envision him going to Dallas and we being a lot better. You know what I'm saying? I want that. Same with Anton Harris. Quentin Johnson, we have CD. We have our big play threat. We have our high pointer. We have that. We don't want two bookends like that because then you need some difference. You need some differences in your receivers. Emmanuel Forbes, he's a decent one. We do need a corner, but we're straight right now as far as this season. But that would be a good pick. Will McDonald, I saw that. More heat on the quarterback. You can never go wrong with that. Osiris Torrance, he's just very slow for me to get him in the first round because I envision us having a fast football team, especially with Tony Pollard, and I want a guard that's going to be able to pull and get out there and get in front of these running backs at least a little bit before because that's just what I envisioned. You got Zay, who's a lot of people like, over my guy. We got Mozzie Smith right there, a huge plug, but still none of those guys. Jamar Gibbs maybe. So in my mind, the two people that could give us a real boost is Jamar Gibbs and Josh Downs. And I have to go with Josh Downs because of what I've said earlier in my other video. Josh Downs is going to be a 90 to 100 catch receiver. Josh Downs is going to be everything that Cole Beasley and Amari Cooper was for us. Josh Downs, if you look at our history, when we didn't have one of those two, Amari or Cole Beasley, our offense, our passing game looked terrible. So this fixes that. Josh Downs with CeeDee Lamb, the most dynamic duo, and then you can interchange the other guy. The other guy can be Gallup for a while, then it can be the next person, whoever, and then it could be the next person or whatever. But the meat and potatoes of our football team will be Josh Downs on every third down because he's a player that will be open on every play. I don't know how I can relay how important that is to a quarterback. If we don't get Josh Downs, whoever gets him, the quarterback for that team is going to have an incredible season next year. And it's going to just elevate his career. He is going to be in sync with a quarterback, kind of like Kelsey and Mahomes. They're not as talented, don't get me wrong now. But the synchronicity that, you know what I'm trying to say. It's late, but those two, the way they can communicate, and Kelsey just moves his shoulder, and Mahomes, he does this. He knows how to send signals to quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. So he is going to be the next great route runner in the NFL. I'm not looking for a big 1,300 yard receiver. I'm looking for a guy that's going to convert first downs over and over. No, 3rd and 3. Oh, let's just throw it to that guy. 3rd and 4. Oh, let's just throw it to that guy. 3rd and 6. Oh, let's just throw it to that guy. That's what I want. And with all the slants, he's open. Outs, he's open. Diggs, man, he put a guy on his knees. I mean, on his back, not on his knees, doing a dig route in the end zone. And it's just like, I mean, he is literally just like those two, Amari and Cole, uncoverable. And I just feel like that is so important to have one guy that a quarterback can just like, okay, I just need this play. I'm going to throw it straight to him. And just like, that's what Mahomes and Kelsey does. They're just looking at it and bam, because they know what each other is going to do. I want that guy. All right. Enough talking of that. Let me give him. Hey, Josh, please come to Dallas. All right, Buffalo is next. Let's get through these last ones. I'm going to give them Zay. They're happy because we passed on Zay. So we'll see what happens there. Zay goes to Buffalo. Then, of course, the Bengals and Michael Mayer I mean, they need a tight end. They need a blocker. They need a Meyer. Next, we have the Saints, and Drew Sanders fits what they're doing perfectly. Where is he? There he is. Linebacker from Arkansas to the Saints. Then Eagles. Shut up, Quentin Johnson. Then they get their wide receiver. This is their first pick is not their, what do they call it, luxury vanity pick. They say, oh, the 10th, that's a vanity pick. No, the 10th pick is something for, you know, their offensive line, defensive line, something for the meat and potatoes of the football team. This is the vanity pick, and this is Quentin Monster Johnson. And then the last pick of the draft, we will give Kansas City Will McDonald. Grading my draft. How was my draft? I'm staying in my seat. Why are they still? They're not going to tell me. It's hung up. So many people doing it tonight. It's close. All right, guys, that's what I think is going to happen. Of course, I will be live. I will be live tonight on this channel, watching the draft as always. And I literally cannot wait for it. All right, holla at you. Peace out.